Hi, my name is Ryan Hislop. Our documentary was about social media and impact it has on people, how it might affect them positively and negatively.
I'm not sure whether social media is exactly creating a generation of narcissistic and vain people. I think that people from different generations will use social media for different things.
Well, going to a girls' school, you see that girls will constantly be on their phones. They'll constantly be like, "Oh, have you seen my Instagram picture? Like my Instagram picture." They'll actually ask for the Instagram picture to be liked or their Facebook to be liked. It's not a case of just putting it on there anymore. It's like they're begging for the likes.
Yes, definitely. I think social media has taken over any form of natural communication.
I feel like the generation that's slowly coming up are people that have just lost touch on reality. They've lost touch on what it means to just be happy with who you actually are, and it's just created just a generation of just not bad people, but people that are lost and concern themselves in the wrong thing.
It kind of goes back to the kind of first question that we discussed about this idea of a generation of narcissistic people. Sometimes social media can be used by young people in a very positive way.
I think it is making people antisocial as when they're on the phones or the laptops and they're on social media, it cuts them off from the outside world.
This might not this isn't just because I haven't had a phone for a little bit, but just like like a few month break from social media and just not being like plugged in all the time and just constantly just being looking down at my phone. I've actually had chance to look around and just see where I'm actually see what's actually going on around me and notice these different things, and I've become a lot more aware of the world that I'm living in. Now I've looked up from my phone and opened my eyes and looked around and actually experienced it.
Um, One of the things that social media tends to do with younger people is it downplays face-to-face interaction, which I think is particularly problematic because it creates a lot of individualism.
I've had a few conversations with my mates that because of this, because I'm not on my phone all the time, I've gone out and I'll be chilling with them, and they'll just be there, just speaking to someone else. Like, why go? I understand that it's just that's what a phone's there for, so you can keep in touch with other people. But if you're literally speaking and out with someone, like physically, chat to them while you're there. Your phone's not going to disappear. Your phone's not going to go. Wait until you get home and then speak to these other people that you're not seeing but you've still got contact with while you're seeing and you're next to and physically are speaking and being involved in these other people. Wait. Let them other people wait till you get home and speak to them. There's too much pressure on just replying and speaking and just the way you have to act.
In a bad way, because it's used for a completely different thing these days. So it's creating a false picture for people. So when people then become into relationships, it's not about going to meet them. It's all about, okay, we'll talk on Instagram, add my Instagram, add my Snapchat, add my Facebook, and then when they actually become to meet the person, it's not actually who they
So it's
have
almost like
seen.
catfish.
Well, it's very interesting the impact that social media probably has on modern relationships, because A very positive thing about social media is that it can be used to actually keep relationships going, long distance relationships.
I think likes and followers influence people as they can portray themselves totally different.
Taking myself off social media is a wake-up call to anyone and everyone who follows me. I had the dream life. I had 500,000 people interested in me on social media, on Instagram, sorry. I had over 100,000 views on most of my videos on YouTube. To a lot of people, I made it.
It really is to do with this idea of performance and who is the audience. And people tend to think that maybe they don't feel satisfied with their own self-images, so they want to create ideas of who they would like to be rather than who they actually are. A lot of it is to do with a lack of confidence in the individual, and people are not quite satisfied with their own bodies. They tend to be wanting to be someone else, and it goes back to this question that we talked about earlier with the idea of bodies. People aren't satisfied with their own bodies. Women think they all have to look a particular way.
Perfection's impossible, and I think the point was I just kept taking them and taking them and taking them and putting them online and getting mixed reviews, and then I really wanted just somebody to have one that was just completely flawless. It was 10 hours a day. 200 selfies, and the thing is, this wouldn't happen if it wasn't in a media age. This is a very new thing, selfies.
Because of the Kardashians and people like these, they're creating role models for young girls, and these girls feel like the way that they're gonna gain fame and gain respect and gain likes or be liked, they have to look in a certain way, they have to dress in a certain way, they have to act in a certain way, and these aren't things that should be like implemented in someone's life.
Back then, that was like the ideal thing. I remember looking at pictures of these models and then looking at my thighs and stomach in the mirror and thinking, do I look like that? How can I look that? I remember Googling models, like centimeters of their waist and their thighs, and then measuring my own to compare. At 12, I told myself I would be of value the more views I got on YouTube. Or I looked at girls that had heaps of views and I thought, damn, I want that. I told myself that when I have heaps of views, people will view me. I will feel valued. I will feel happiness.
Yes, absolutely, because again, I do think this idea of comparison is important because it's about ideal types. And with the ideal types, it's to do with body shape, body image. People are more obsessed with how they look. I think at more stage than any other in society, idea that we've got like this idea of multiple images without any kind of reality behind them. Everyone tends to want to look the same in terms of who should we be rather than who we actually are. And I think that is one of the kind of distracting influences of social media, because instead of trying to change things, we're trying to kind of project